Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Steel. This fall, power up with Steel, a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. Also brought to you by your local Ford dealers. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. Here's Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Iowa State week. The battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy is on, at least verbally. Of course, they'll decide it at 11 o'clock Saturday morning over at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. The Hawks and the Cyclones resume their long-term rivalry. The 72nd meeting in the series that dates back to 1894. The Hawks have won 7 of the last 9 games, and incredibly 6 straight at Jack Trice Stadium. The visiting team has won the last 5 games on the road, on the other's home course. Last year, of course, the Cyclones won that struggle here in Iowa City, 20-19 on a field goal from beyond 50 yards by freshman Kyle Conrady. And he's back, as a lot of Iowa natives are on both rosters, and we'll talk about that tonight. But the teams are putting their midweek polish on the game plan as we get ready for what should be another humdinger. I mean, what is it? The last 10 games in this series, save for 1 or 2, have been 10 points or fewer, and 7 of those games have been one-score games in the end. So you basically can throw all the angles, all the advantages out the window, because it's Iowa State. This entire state, border to border, from Decorah to Red Oak, Sioux City to Keokuk, shuts down. Whether you have a mild interest in football, a passionate interest in Iowa State football, or no interest at all, everybody either tunes in, watches, or is at the game, or all three. So it's going to be that kind of day. Again, the weather's going to be beautiful. Looking at the forecast today, a little over 70 degrees. With no chance of rain, mostly sunshine, maybe a few clouds, as Iowa and Iowa State get it on again for the 72nd meeting. Hawks defeated Albany in the season opener last Saturday, 34-7. The Cyclones are 2-0 after a 55-7 dominating victory over South Dakota. The Cyclones, of course, are paced by all Big 12 quarterback Rocco Beck, who put up some incredible numbers, 278 yards passing and 3 touchdowns last weekend. The Hawkeyes used a ground and pound rushing attack that totaled 310 yards. That's the most yards in rushing yards in a season opener in over 20 years. And most of those went to this flashy freshman, tailback Xavier Williams, who finished with 122 yards on 11 carries. That's not a bad average, with a touchdown. He's the first Iowa freshman to debut with 100 rushing yards since, anybody want to take a guess? Sean Green, the great Sean Green, back in 2005. So Xavier Williams is some pretty select company. Outland Trophy candidate center Logan Jones and big right tackle Jennings Dunker will be critical to Iowa's success on Saturday. Those 2 seniors are rated the best at their position in college football by Pro Football Focus, coming back for their final year. And Iowa's offensive line will take on a Cyclone defense led by a big nose tackle Dominic Orange. There'll be some collisions going on there. You will hear the pads popping at 11 o'clock Saturday. We'll be on the air, of course, at 9 o'clock with our Hawkeye pregame coverage. For now, it's Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, and we're live at View Rooftop every Wednesday night it's a special week. Iowa State week is always great to talk about all the build-up to the big game on Saturday. But you can join us at View Rooftop every Wednesday night for Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Stop by on football Saturdays, home or away, at View Rooftop to experience a unique setting here in Iowa City where you can immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. High-definition televisions, they're roughly 8 to 10 here in the bar and restaurant area for watching the game. Of course, View always has game day specials and live music. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast at View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Iowa City. Right downtown, call for reservations. I'll read the phone number a couple times, 319-519-4650, 319-519-4650. If you're not going to Ames, if you're not fortunate enough to have a ticket, please call the View Rooftop. They would love to host you for game day this Saturday. And the Hawks are 1-0, Iowa State 2-0. Iowa and Iowa State at 11 o'clock from Ames. The Hawks have 43 Iowa natives, 43 on their roster. The Cyclones boast of 44 native sons. So it's split right down the middle, 44 to 43. And a lot of talent from outside the state on both rosters. Back to Xavier Williams. He was one of 5 tailbacks to get carries last Saturday. Now, one of those will not be playing this weekend. He's been penciled in as the starter for a number of weeks, and that is Moulton, and he will not play. Had his wing in a sling after halftime, and Kamari, they don't think it'll be long-term, but he is not on the 2 deeps this week. So Kamari Moulton, the number 1 running back coming into the season, will sit out this week and hopefully not a whole lot more. So Terrell Washington, TJ, is listed as the number 1 tailback, and for good reason. I mean, he's a salty sophomore from Wiley, Texas. He's played a lot. Last year, you'll remember, he was a wide receiver, played a lot in the slot position. They ran a lot of jet sweeps and end arounds with TJ. He's the fastest man on the team, and so he'll be prominent. And then, of course, Xavier Williams, Jazz Patterson. You know, Jazz Patterson, over there 2 years ago when the Hawks knocked off the Cyclones 20-13, Jazz Patterson had a big day, 86 yards rushing and a touchdown. And when he hits that hole in that inside zone, he's tough to catch, tough to bring down. So those 3 will be prominent. Nathan McNeil got a few carries on Saturday. He is a true freshman from Tampa. He's part of that big future of the position. But for Mark Gronowski, we're going to get to Mark Gronowski. He was not happy with his performance last week. It wasn't the Mark Gronowski certainly the fan base was expecting, but he knows he's going to get better, and he talked about his performance.
Yeah, one of the things is just calm my feet down a little bit, slow everything down, and make sure I'm catching it, then punching, getting into my drop, just so I can start seeing everything and just really just trust my throws. And just sometimes just having that like screw it mindset, just we're gonna throw it, we're gonna sling it, and that way we're going to have more completions that way and get more balls down the field. First game jitters a little bit. We got to just go out there, play ball, have fun, just play free, and you'll end up playing more fast by doing that.
Yeah, I'm for that. Mark Gronowski, I expect him to be way better this week than last week. And, you know, it's easy to look at the yards gained, but let's not forget he scored a touchdown and he threw a touchdown pass to Caden Weegan. And who wouldn't take that, regardless of the minuscule yardage total? So expect Mark to get better. You know, another thing, he's used to having 70,000 people screaming against him, not for him. There's no doubt in my mind, this guy's got a proven track record. I mean, when you've scored 133 touchdowns, I don't care what league you're in, you know north and south, you know where the end zone is. He's passed for over 10,000 yards. He obviously had some anxiety and pumped up issues beyond normal last Saturday, so I expect him to play a great game on the road. He's played in hostile environments before. Don't worry about Mark Gronowski. This is the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Week, of course, and we'll meet our friends from Iowa Corn when we come back. Coach Ferentz will be here shortly after 7 o'clock tonight. Back with more from View Rooftop right after this on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
fuels the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited about the football season. Iowa Corn is pumped up for their season and their partnership with the Hawkeyes. When you drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up with unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Your Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team is serving up Big Ten excitement this fall at Extreme Arena.
Winning Stahl catches the back line. The Hawks win it 25-21, and they take it in straight sets.
With fast-paced action and fun for the whole family, Iowa volleyball is the perfect way to spend an evening. Season tickets are on sale now. You won't want to miss out.
And that'll go for a block.
For more information on tickets and the 2025 season, check out HawkeyeSports.com. It's the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. Iowa State in everything. I saw the Cyclone women's soccer team in town this afternoon. They're staying at my hotel. They're playing the Hawks, and Coach Dave Diani and his top 10 program tomorrow night over at the West Campus. Free admission for Iowa State. So the Cy-Hawk trophy battle starts a little bit early, but of course on Saturday it's all about Iowa State football. And we thank Iowa Corn. Can't thank our friends at Iowa Corn enough. Tonight we have President Iowa Corn Growers Association President Mark Mueller on the show. Mark has been farming for 26 years near Waverly up in Bramer County. He's producing no-till corn, soybeans, alfalfa, specialty beans, forage rye, and corn for silage. Mark Mueller is a fourth-generation farmer, serves as the Iowa Corn Growers Association president, and he's on the Research and Business Development Committee. Iowa leads the nation in corn production, and farmers are proud of the many ways it benefits our great state, from food to fuel to conservation. And as we like to say, you might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. And I know, Mark, how Iowa corn farmers in general, but particularly Iowa corn, is so proud of our student athletes that are part of this great Iowa Cy-Hawk corn series, this Iowa corn Cy-Hawk tradition. As farmers can attest, when you put in the work and give it your all, great things happen, right?
Oh, yeah. We see the same work ethic in our student athletes that we see in the farming community in general, and Iowa farmers in particular. Frankly, the nature of a farmer is he sees something that has to get done, And he just goes ahead and does it. He doesn't wait for somebody else to come along. We got to do it ourselves and get it done. And I have to admit, I'm that way. I probably take on more things that I'm not so good at, but I like to at least have the feeling of accomplishment after I've gotten it done.
Yeah, I mean, make that block, get that first down, multitask if you have to. That is Mark Mueller and our Iowa farmers. I say it every year. I just marvel when you visit a grocery store, you can find corn in more than 4,000 products. It is just incredible, whether it's meat, dairy, eggs, that bag of chips, those adult beverages. It's come full circle for the Iowa farmer.
It's not just going to be in a grocery store. Look at, foods, there's plenty there. It takes corn to make cheese, it takes corn to make milk, it takes corn to make meat and other stuff. But look at industrial products, biofuels, chemicals. You can make acrylic acid or acetic acid out of corn. Now, you can make those things out of oil too, but the thing is, if you want to make it out of a biorenewable source, and there is a market for that, a biorenewable source, you can make it out of corn. And the trick is to make it out of corn as cheaply as you can make it out of oil. We're getting there. Iowa corn research dollars are helping fund those research into those things. And acetic acid or acrylic acid, I use those two examples, by themselves aren't something the consumer is going to buy, but they're a critical feedstock for many other products. Corn is used in pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, toothpaste, pet foods, diapers, those Croc shoes that I've never worn, but everybody seems to love them. That has corn as a certain ingredient.
It is amazing. It is really amazing.
Polyesters. There's a plant being built down in southern Iowa, down by Eddyville, that's going to be making a textile using corn as a feedstock that will be used to make polyester. I think the Lululemon company is the one that's pioneering that. I've never heard of Lululemon, but my daughters have. So. Oh yeah, the younger generations. It's a very popular brand, Lululemon. Let's talk about Iowa corn-based ethanol as a renewable fuel as we wrap it up with Mark Mueller, the Iowa Corn Growers Association. Iowa Corn encourages all fans to pump it up with unleaded 88. It's grown by corn farmers right here in the great state of Iowa. So pump it up with unleaded 88. And E15 was priced at about 88 cents a gallon discount to gasoline during the March 2024 to March 2025 period for Iowa drivers. So not only is it good for your vehicle, whatever that vehicle happens to be, but it's certainly reasonably priced, isn't it? Yeah, there's a misperception, or there used to be. If somebody's car quit 40 years ago, the first thing they'd say is, well, it must be ethanol. But cars built over the last 40 years, and especially cars built over the last 25 years, are designed to run on ethanol, E15 and sometimes higher. E15, locally grown, locally processed. Iowa produces half of our corn crop goes to ethanol. And it has other benefits. It runs cleaner than traditional fuels. And you go to some places like California. Okay, here's an example. California, they have E85. Now, there aren't many companies making E85 vehicles anymore, flex fuel vehicles. But my brother has a flex fuel Ford F-350 pickup. He's getting phone calls from used car dealers in California saying, we'd like to buy your truck. Because everyone out in California gets snapped up because the price of E85 is literally $2 a gallon cheaper than it is for everything else. So there's a market for that. Ethanol, it pops up in the strangest places, but in California, it's huge.
And I can remember the days when they said, burn 87 proof, not 88, because that's not good for your engine. Well, the refining of unleaded 88, I mean, this is, again, 15, 20 years ago. That's a pipe dream or a misnomer now, isn't it? All those grades are just fine for your automobile or truck.
They really are, and I drive a 1966 Buick Riviera. It's a nice car, but I've driven it, I've owned it for 40 years, and I burned ethanol, E10, almost that entire time, as much as I could get it. I have yet to have a problem with my car that's burned E10 for the last 40 years.
That's a good commercial to end on. Folks, more than 97% of Iowa's farms are family-owned. A desire to continue that legacy is what motivates farmers to leave the land better than they found it. Doing so requires the utmost care of our water and soil. And Mark Mueller, nobody cares for the water and soil more than the Iowa farmer, correct?
I would agree. We live where we work. We're not going to mess up our own workspace, our own homes. We're definitely doing everything we can to keep it for the next generation.
Mark Mueller, great visiting with you here on the Kirk Ferentz Hawk Talk program with Coach Ferentz. It should be another wild one at Jack Trice Stadium coming up on Saturday. Do you have a dog in the hunt?
Well, I will confess on your show that I'm more of an Iowa State fan, but I went to the Cy-Hawk games in 1977 and 78. Those are the first two that happened after the series was renewed, and I've enjoyed pretty much every game since then. I will admit I like the ones where Iowa State does a bit better, but there's plenty to go around for everybody.
Well, Mark, I hope you enjoyed your one and only appearance on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. He's a good guy. We'll talk to Mark again on Saturday. He can root for the Cyclones. That's okay. No big deal. It's a friendly rivalry, as they say. They got a big pep rally, Hawkeye I-Club get-together tomorrow night in Des Moines, which we'll talk about. Pat Anger and I will be at that. Wowing the crowd, no doubt, out at Big Grove Brewery. So join us in Central Iowa if you're over in Des Moines tomorrow night. We're at View Rooftop tonight, and thanks to Mark Mueller and Iowa Corn for, of course, their major sponsorship of Iowa State in the Cy-Hawk series, and especially here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Iowa Corn throughout the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk series, excuse me. Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org and learn how corn grows Iowa. Iowa Corn in the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, Iowa State, Saturday at 11. Well, former Iowa basketball coach George Raveling passed away in the last 24 hours. We're going to remember George for a few minutes when we come back here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop and Learfield.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Entertain your clients or employees each home game in Hawkeye Village. Presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Packages include game tickets and catered food and beverage. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. As a proud partner of Hawkeye football, Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is an employee engagement company helping organizations create more health and happiness in the communities they serve. Learn more at NavigateWell.com.
Hawks and the Cyclones coming up Saturday at 11 o'clock over at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. Iowa 1-0. The Cyclones out of the gate at 2-0, knocking off Kansas State in the Farmageddon over in Ireland and Dublin a couple of weeks back. Then an impressive win over South Dakota on Saturday. Iowa, of course, thumped Albany, ran away in the second half, literally ran away, and won at 34-7. We'll be on the air at 9 o'clock Saturday morning from Jack Trice. Well, former Iowa basketball coach George Raveling passed away here yesterday, and George was an incredible character. He was not only an outstanding basketball coach, great recruiter, and of course it takes great assistance to recruit. And George Raveling and C. Vivian Stringer were hired in a span of about 2 weeks by Bump Elliott and Dr. Christine Grant. And it was really an incredible move forward by the University of Iowa. There weren't a lot of head coaches who were African American back in the early 1980s. And on George's staff was Scott Howard, who's an Iowa native, the son of Dale and Marilyn Howard. The Howard family name is on Carver Hawkeye Arena. Scott is now the director of scouting for the Denver Nuggets, who won a NBA championship a couple years ago. And Scott joins us from somewhere on the road tonight. Where are you, brother?
I'm actually home in Miami for once.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
Hey, great. Again, thanks for coming on. I know this is short notice, but you know, George was such an interesting character, and especially for the Iowa fan base. Lute Olson left for Arizona. George comes in. He hires you. And you guys brought in the likes of B.J. Armstrong and Roy Marble, Greg Stokes. I know Michael Payne, Greg Stokes stayed for Dr. Tom. But Kevin Gamble, one of the terrific players. That team won 31 games, got to an Elite Eight during your tenure here or right after you left. But laid the base for what was a great era of Iowa basketball. Scott, what are your memories of George Raveling tonight?
I'm saddened. Dolph, he was my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. He was next to my parents, he was the most influential man in my life. And yet I can't explain to you that there are thousands of people, literally thousands of people around the world that consider George their best friend. He had an amazing way to touch people. And if you ever went to dinner with George or were in his presence, he gave you his full attention. He never blew anybody off. He was kind of he had a great sense of humor, Dolph. You and I talked about it a little bit today, but he was a great speaker. He was great humor. He was a fun guy to be with, very caring. And let me tell you that the last, I used to speak to George almost every day on the phone, and in the last couple of months when his health wasn't as great, I didn't speak to him as much. But the very last time I talked to him about 10 days ago, the last question he asked of me, which was what he always asked every single time I talked to him, was, "What could I be doing for you today?" And he genuinely meant it. He was just a phenomenal human being. And I'm going to tell you, he was a much better basketball coach than he was ever given credit for. He got credit for being a great recruiter, but he was a good basketball coach. And in the 80s and the 90s, Dolph, George Raveling was a power player in college athletics. He was a fascinating, well-read, deep guy. He just a real. I've been blessed, as many of us have, that we had him in our lives.
Who else was on that staff, Scott?
The first staff that George had was Jody Gardner, Mel Hankinson, and Ron Ryder. And then there became a little bit of a turnover. Rudy Washington came in, and Mel Hankinson left. Brian Hamill joined our staff. And so Brian Hamill was a terrific assistant coach. So the last staff that George had was Ron Ryder, Brian Hamill, and Rudy Washington. And I was on that staff. And then George, unfortunately, left for a lot of us went to USC, took most of the people with him. And Bump had the vision to hire Tom Davis, which was a brilliant hire itself. So Iowa basketball was in great hands there for a long time.
And has been for the most part ever since. Hold on, Scott. We're at the top of the hour. We need to take a 10-second station identification break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk from Iowa City and Learfield. Thanks to our flagship stations, WHO in Des Moines, WMT in Cedar Rapids, and 50 other stations around the state and the Midwest. Scott Howard is on the line with us from Miami. Scott was on George Raveling's staff back in the early to mid-1980s when the Hawks began following up Lute Olson's great run with a run of their own with George and with Dr. Tom Davis for many years. Scott, what I always enjoyed about George, not only was he a terrific coach and recruiter and staff organizer, but he was a comedian. I mean, he grew up in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, and he always talked about how tough things were growing up in the streets of Washington, D.C., and he would get up in front of an iClub crowd. I remember two of my favorite jokes. A guy come walking by his house one day, and he said, "Son, how far is it to the subway?" And George said, "I don't know. Nobody's ever made it." And he said his high school had the only school newspaper with an obituary column. I mean, this guy, and he reminded me of Rodney Dangerfield. But to your point, I think he got short-sold on his coaching ability. What made him? I mean, he was on Bobby Knight's 1984 staff at the Olympic Games that featured Michael Jordan and a lot of other great players, but Jordan most particularly. What made him a great coach? How did he connect with guys like BJ and Marble and Gamble and all those wonderful players?
He was a real guy, Dolph. I mean, George was an unbelievable promoter. And let me tell you this, he was ahead of his time. We used to sit in meetings and he would say, what if we tried this? What if we did that? And we were fortunate at Iowa because we had what I consider the greatest athletic director that I ever worked for when I was in college athletics for 20 years was Bump Elliott. And Bump, he allowed Georgia, we didn't have a budget. And George took pretty good advantage of it too, I will say that. But we had promotional items. George was just an out-of-the-box thinker. And he was a real guy. And so he would go into those homes. He was a master salesman to kids' parents. And then we had something to sell at Iowa. I mean, when George got there, the arena had just opened. We were coming off of Lute Olson's success. That arena was packed every day. If you remember, Dolph, we had our recruiting visits were built around football weekends when Hayden Fry's football teams were powerhouses, and we had those shirts and skin scrimmages on a Saturday morning, and then we took a guy to a Hawkeye game in the afternoon. It was over. Those kids were coming, and it was just an incredible environment at that time. But he was a visionary, an incredible visionary in the sense of he thought out of the box, and he was kind. and he was never going to take advantage of anybody. He was never going to make an enemy. And I think that that's hard in coaching because when you beat people in recruiting, somebody's going to accuse you of cheating or somebody's going to accuse you of bad mouthing or whatever. George had no enemies. He had no common enemy. And like, I believe Kirk Ferentz is that way with the Hawks in football. Everybody has an immense amount of respect for Kirk, and George was the same way. He was an incredible human being, incredible human being.
Couldn't agree with you more, Scott. Really appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You got meetings going on. The NBA season is right around the corner. All the best. Give everybody with the Nuggets our best, and thanks so much for your time and your remembrances of George Raveling. Best man in the wedding, man. That's. Yeah. I mean, that's who. But that's who he was. You know, he was a father, a gentleman, a great coach, and I think he missed his calling. He could have done a comedic stand-up routine on the side.
Yeah.
How about the flight home from Columbus one night when he got up and got on the microphone and said, guys, the bad news is we're lost. The good news is we're making really good time.
We're making good time. Yeah, that was a good one for him. But I got to tell you this, Dolph. I was blessed beyond imagination. I had the two greatest parents in the world, and I think I'm the rare guy who had a third. And George was that third. My mom and dad were the biggest influences in my life, but George is right behind.
Scott, all the best. We'll see you along the basketball trail in an arena or two, okay?
Okay, my friend. I'm coming back for that game on Saturday. I can't wait.
You're coming back to the Iowa State game?
Oh, you bet.
Oh, outstanding.
I haven't missed that game for about 20 years.
Well, you're an Iowa boy. I mean, come on. You're an Iowa guy.
Yeah, but I went to Iowa State, and then.
Well, you didn't have to bring that up now.
I went to Iowa State and then got my master's at Iowa, where I worked for George. And so, I kind of get split sometimes. I'm going to root for those Hawks now.
You've got skin in both universities, but thanks for
yeah,
your time.
I do.
Coach,
okay, my friend.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Take care.
Talk to you.
And would you do me a favor, Dolph?
Yeah.
Congratulate Kirk on tying that record. I can't wait for him to break it.
Soon to be broken. I will do that. He'll be here in a couple minutes. Thanks, Scott.
Take care, buddy.
Take care. Scott Howard from up Iowa Falls way. Of course, Dale and Marilyn Howard, his beautiful parents, their name is on the building over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. And Scott's been a longtime basketball aficionado, both for Iowa as well as beyond in the NBA. All right, Coach Ferentz is working his way into the building. We'll take your Facebook posts, your Twitter questions here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We want to thank KCRG 9.2 as well tonight. Aaron, Rooney, Deke, and Mike are here televising our show each and every week from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. You can reach Coach Ferentz on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We have a U.S. Cellular text line. That number, if you'd like to text a question, is 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. Back to View Rooftop in just a minute on Hawk Talk with the coach from Learfield.
Hi, Hawk fans. This is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. Hard work, resilience, commitment. That's what it takes to succeed, whether you're battling on the football field or working the farm fields. With fewer than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land, the Iowa Hawkeyes are proud to stand with Iowa's farm families who work hard every day to feed and fuel yours with dedication and care. For 40 years, our players have proudly worn the ANF logo on their helmets. It's not just a symbol, it's an important reminder that farmers are the backbone of Iowa and the heart of our country. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate 40 years of America Needs Farmers on ANF Game Day, October 18th. And don't miss your shot to win the ultimate ANF fan package. 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. Enter now at americaneedsfarmers.org. Thank you for standing with Iowa's farmers. We'll see you at the game.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The Iowa Soccer Complex is home to one of the best programs in the country, the Iowa Hawkeyes. With free admission and parking, Iowa Soccer is one of the best family-friendly options around. The fast-paced action is sure not to disappoint. Find a match that works for you. View our 2025 schedule at HawkeyeSports.com.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Hawk Talk live from View Rooftop tonight in Iowa City, midweek of Cy-Hawk Week. Iowa State. Coach Ferentz has joined the crowd here and busily, merrily preparing for another edition of Iowa State. 72nd meeting. The Hawks have won 7 of the last 9 in a variety of ways. But one constant has been it's been a knockdown drag-out, very, very close at the end.
Yeah, it really has. Coach Campbell's first year was a year of adjustment for him, but outside of that, it's been a really tough series, basically since I've been back here, and a lot of really close games. Last 5 games, I think, are 4 points a game, separating the two teams on average. So it gives you a real indication, and it typically goes down to the fourth quarter. That's just the way it's been. So expect more of that again this weekend.
Let me play once again, Coach, quarterback Mark Gronowski's comments on last week in the opener against the University of Albany.
Yeah, one of the things is just calm my feet down a little bit, slow everything down, and make sure I'm catching it, then punching, getting into my drop, just so I can start seeing everything and just really just trust my throws. And just sometimes just having that like screw it mindset, just we're gonna throw it, we're gonna sling it, and that way we're gonna have more completions that way and get more balls down the field. First game jitters a little bit. We got to just go out there, play ball, have fun, just play free, and you'll end up playing more fast by doing that.
You could see from the get-go he was really amped up. He was fired up, and you know that happens. I mentioned earlier before you got here that he's used, and they've played a number of Division I schools all on the road when he was at South Dakota State. He's used to having 70,000 people hate him, not love him, and you know that's an adjustment.
Yeah, I think. Valid point. He's played a lot of football, a lot of college football, a lot of winning college football, most importantly. But there is a difference. Not so much to your point. He's played in front of big crowds, all that, but he's never been our quarterback, and he wants to do well. He's really a very prideful guy, highly motivated, and he wants everything to be perfect and just right, which is impossible. But that's how he's wired. So I think that's what we saw. The first ball was a throw out to his left, a little hitch route, and that thing came up 5 or 8 feet short, and he's probably thrown 1,000 of those right on the money. So I think that was just kind of representative of the way things are, and really kind of representative of our football team. I think a lot of the guys were everybody tried hard, everybody had good effort out there. No complaints from that front, but things weren't always clicking the way they need to be, and a big part of that is just we haven't had live competition. So to have that, to be out in front of a crowd, home or away, and I won't say get it out of our system, but go through the ups and downs of a game and the emotions and feelings that you get. I think it should be a little bit easier for everybody this week just to kind of settle down here a little bit and play, and that's the old cliche about week 1 to week 2. That's part of that equation, probably a big part of the equation. We had a lot of guys that hadn't played yet, or at least played in the roles they played Saturday, so really curious to see how they were going to do, how they'd react, and they did, for the most part, a pretty good job. And Mark did a lot of good things, too, and I just I'm totally confident. It's just nothing but good things ahead for him.
Yeah, we pointed out earlier that he did throw a touchdown pass and he scored a touchdown. So despite the less than satisfactory yardage in his mind, he performed. He scored 2 touchdowns, or was involved in 2 touchdowns, and that's big on any Saturday.
Yeah, and he knows what's going out there. Good feel for the game. Certainly studies it, and really smart guy, and has good experience. So, you just got to relax a little bit and just not try to. I've never thrown a football with any accuracy, or I just don't throw a football, but I could throw a baseball, and I do know if you start pressing, that's when the ball sails, that's when bad things happen, and if you are trying too hard, you're not just throwing. So kind of to Mark's quote there, you just gotta let your talents, which he has and I don't, but you gotta let those take over and just play the game.
Well, the offensive line certainly asserted itself nearly from the get-go, over 300 yards rushing, and this freshman Xavier Williams made a statement. And among other running backs, you got good balance in that rushing attack. But what'd you like most about the blocking, and then obviously how the guys were hitting the holes?
Yeah, as I just kind of alluded to, I was really eager to see just how our new players are going to react and what they're going to do. And our linebackers aren't new; they're all seniors, but they're new to starting. And then you look at the offensive linemen. Basically, you got 3 guys that are playing a lot with Pieper. And then you got Trevor Luck, and you've got Jack Doetzler, who haven't played really when it counts. And Pieper did as little as an extra lineman, but not in the role he was in Saturday. I thought all 3 of those guys did good. The veterans played well. So it was good to see those guys being aggressive. A lot we can clean up and get better at, but that's encouraging. And really thought the tempo they played at was what we're looking for. And now it's going to be another challenge this week. Notch up in competition certainly, and Iowa State's a really tough preparation. So, that part factors into, but it was a good start for those guys, and I thought a good start for basically all the guys that haven't played. And you referenced Xavier Williams. We've watched him in practice now basically through the entire fall last year, especially during bowl prep and spring ball, and just had confidence he'd play well. But it's a whole different deal getting tackled out there live and going against other people, that are trying to get the ball out and that type of deal. So I thought he handled that really well.
Ty Washington, Jazz Patterson, they've had experience with this Iowa State rivalry. So despite the injury to Kamari Moulton, give us an update on Kamari, of course, but you're pretty solid at the tailback.
Yeah, Kamari definitely won't play this week. We'll take it week to week, day by day, but definitely not this week. So we'll go with the guys that played the game Saturday, and Kamari played some Saturday, but not much. So go with those guys. And, Jazz jumped in there and looked like Jazz always does. Just he's been pretty consistent now for 3 years, and that's a good thing for us. TJ played primarily receiver last year and has really good ball skills, and we were thin out there, but we've got a little better group now, so we're back to his natural position where I think, he's going to be just fine. Did a nice job Saturday, and then you got Xavier. So those 3 guys give us a good starting point for sure.
You give up 7 points in any game. That's a solid performance overall. Your thoughts on the defensive effort last week?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Obviously, the thing that counts are points scored and given, what you score, then how many you give up. And all in all, a lot of really good things. I thought our tackling for first game out, you always worry about that. And I thought, for the first time out, it was decent, certainly. And, we gave up, a couple plays there where they were, I think we had them on the 15, their own 15, and we let them out to midfield or near midfield. And you'd like to control field position a little bit better. And then right before the half, they had the ball in the 25, I think, on a first down and hit about a 25-yarder. So those kinds of things, you just you don't want to give those up because it makes it easier for the offense to get the ball in position to score. So little details, the things that are coachable and correctable, and hopefully we can make a jump, this week from last week to this week. But, again, the level of competition, Iowa State's got a lot of guys that are very capable, run and pass, so we have to do a really good job against them.
All right, we're going to take a break with Coach Ferentz. Before we do, though, let's go to Facebook and or Twitter. Lou is in Marion. Kirk, Rocco Beck was a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week and broke the school record for completion percentage in a game. I'll say 19 of 20. All 3 of his touchdown passes were to tight ends. Iowa State's had outstanding tight ends the last few years. They're not tight end you. Hope not. Go Hawks. Yeah, they got it done. I think they had 13 of Rocco's 19 completions last week went to the tight ends.
Yeah, they could be tight end college maybe. I don't know what the difference between universities and colleges are, but or is. But anyway, yeah, they've got a really good group of guys, and they utilize those guys well. And the quarterback missed one throw, and it was really a makeable play, so kind of surprising actually off to his left. But his accuracy was really good the other day, and not all those were short passes. He hit some deep balls, and he's a really poised player, a very smart player. Doesn't make many mistakes, and it's like the guy they had now has played in the Super Bowl. He was a really good player as well. Yeah. I knew who he was. I just wasn't going to say his name.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, but another really good player. He's a leader of their team, highly respected for good reason, and very veteran. So it starts with him, but. Yeah, they've got just especially on the offensive side, they're really experienced. They've got 8 or 9 offensive linemen that have played a lot of football. The tight ends, it's a group of 4, maybe 5 that are going to be in the game, and they utilize them. They're kind of unique. They play those guys more than they do 3 receivers, way more. So at least they have thus far this season. And there aren't many teams in college football doing that. And then their receiver group's a good group. They lost 2 guys to the NFL draft, a second and a third rounder. Yet the guys they have are really good, and they've got size and they got speed. So, they threaten you all across the board.
Coach Ferentz is with us till 8 o'clock tonight, as he is each and every Wednesday night on Hawk Talk here from View Rooftop. Join us every Wednesday night for Hawk Talk. If you'd like to come down and reserve a spot for Saturday's game at Iowa State, if you're not going to the game, here's the phone number, 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Give View Rooftop a call. We'll take a break, come back with more, and Coach Ferentz in just a minute. Every great season starts with a strong foundation. And for farmers, that foundation is healthy soil. At Hawkeyes, we're restoring life to the soil with over 800 species of microbes, helping grow stronger crops, more profitable farms, and healthier communities. Hawkeyes, the future of farming, starts here. Learn more at Hawkeyes.com. That's Holganix, Hawkeyes.com. And entertain your friends, clients, or employees every home game in Hawkeye Village. Presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Packages include game tickets, catered food and beverages. All you have to do is visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is an employee engagement company helping organizations create more health and happiness in the communities they serve. Learn more at NavigateWell.com. We'll be back with Kirk and more of your Twitter and Facebook questions in just a minute here on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop and Learfield.
Hi, Hawk fans. This is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. Hard work, resilience, commitment. That's what it takes to succeed, whether you're battling on the football field or working the farm fields. With fewer than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land, the Iowa Hawkeyes are proud to stand with Iowa's farm families who work hard every day to feed and fuel yours with dedication and care. For 40 years, our players have proudly worn the ANF logo on their helmets. It's not just a symbol, it's an important reminder that farmers are the backbone of Iowa and the heart of our country. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate 40 years of America Needs Farmers on ANF Game Day, October 18th. And don't miss your shot to win the ultimate ANF fan package. 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. Enter now at americaneedsfarmers.org. Thank you for standing with Iowa's farmers. We'll see you at the game.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growing and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
We're back on Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Another great crowd here at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn. You can saunter on out and get that beautiful view of the skyline tonight as the sun sets. We're on Hawk Talk each and every Wednesday here from 6:30 to 8 o'clock throughout the season. And we're taking your calls or your questions and your Facebook and Twitter posts. Let's go to Ames. Coach Ben in Ames. I saw the Iowa State kicker boom a 63-yard field goal against South Dakota last week. Yes, he is from Dubuque. He's asking that question. Who will replace Drew Stevens when he graduates? Those will be big shoes to fill. Hope he has another year of eligibility left. Well, Drew's had a spectacular career, like most kickers in the Kirk Ferentz era.
Yeah, I don't think we can pull that one off. We'll have to check the the record book, see if there's a way to get around that. But no, Drew's done a great job. What a fantastic story he is. He's grown so much since he showed up here 4 years ago. And, the kick he made the other day I didn't realize that was a record for him, but he's been doing practice, just routinely. He's just practiced so well. And, a big part of our program, and probably a lot of places, but I know at our place, for us to have good players and good teams, they've got to grow and develop every year. And Drew is a great example of that. Just has worked extremely hard. He was immature physically when he showed up here, and has grown, really done a great job in the weight room, and that power and that strength he has kicking the ball didn't come by accident. He's worked extremely hard, and then just all the work you have to do. It's like being a good shooter in basketball or a good hitter in baseball. You got to practice, and Drew's done that. So compliments to him and the kicker on the other sideline. It's kind of an interesting game that way. You've got two really good kickers, place kickers, as good as you're going to find anywhere, and then you've got two, I think, really good punters, and both teams have good return guys. So it's if you're into special teams, if you actually pay attention and like them, this is a game. They do a great job on special teams. It's clear that they invest in it and work at it, and it's been a big part of the reason they've been so successful.
Yeah, Drew Stevens, for the record, and thanks for your question, Ben, over in Ames. Drew Stevens is, he's 2 for 2 this year, 20 of 23 last year, and his length has been consistent. He had a career long of 54 before he booted the 55-yarder last week, and it may come down to that again. Kyle Conrady, who you referenced from Dubuque, who kicked the 54-yarder against the Hawks last year, he set a school record last week with a 63-yard field goal over at Jack Trice Stadium against South Dakota. So, yeah, and, more often than not, special teams has decided this game, at least in most of the last 15 or a lot of the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's a big part of the series, and whether it's subtle or obvious, it always factors in. Again, you go back to that fact, the closeness of the series and the games. So really, all three segments are really important, and the field position you gain or lose through special teams is really critical. And so, yeah, it's a big part of it, and it will be Saturday, would be my guess. And, sounds like the conditions are going to be pretty good. So, you can't beat that. And it's talking about, I think, two really good programs that are have good teams that are really good in all three phases.
Aaron, Coach, don't know where Aaron is from. He says, Coach, if you had to pick one, what's your favorite Cy-Hawk memory to date? Here's to another Hawkeye victory and early congrats on becoming soon to be the winningest coach in Big Ten history. Well, thanks, Aaron, for the compliments. I know you probably have several favorite Cy-Hawk memories. Is there one that either painfully you're reminded of or one that you really relish in?
Where do you want me to start? So, I got asked that question today by one of the TV folks we meet with during the week. And anyway, my mind went right to 1981. Not such a great. It was my first experience in this series. And quite frankly, my first experience in any trophy games. We didn't, I just never been involved in those. So, again, it was not a good memory. We had a great week against Nebraska in the opener, and a great week when we got back here and played UCLA. But in between there, went up to Ames. We're not treated very well by their fans and not treated very well by their team either. And it just was not a good day. And, we went to the Rose Bowl, won the Big Ten. So the season turned out okay, but that's when you just kind of hard to shake that memory a little bit. And, we've had some heartbreaking losses in the series. We've had some great wins too. And it's part of, playing in a series where you play year in and year out and that type of thing. So, again, as I said earlier in the program, things that really got turned around in 1998 before I got here. And a year later when I got here, this series has been just really hotly contested. And it brings up another bad memory, 2002. So let's move on to the next question. Let's go to the next question.
We'll do that. Kurt says, Coach, as you look at leadership traits, this is on Twitter, thank you, Kurt. As you look at leadership traits related to coaching student athletes, what trait do you think you've had to change the most or adjust to the most over the years, and why?
Yeah, I don't think there's a change necessarily with the players and the people you're with. It's just the outside world that we live in right now. And I think, if you're a teacher or a coach or a parent, you need to be in tune to what the people that you're working with or parenting, what's their world like. And so, trying to keep track of what's going on in their world, and also keeping track of what's going on in this world of sports, which has just changed so much, especially the last 4 or 5 years, and continues to really kind of amaze me a little bit. And I still hear things that really kind of trouble me, but the players themselves really haven't changed, and the good players I've been around during my career, and this is true, college, pro, or high school, the guys that are good, they want to be good, and they want to learn. And so, you just have to I think, let them understand that you're here to help them and assist them any way you can. You're hopefully make them better at what they do, and then hopefully better, at least in college football and coaching high school players, you're trying to teach them more than just the football part too. And, to some degree in the NFL, but the NFL is a little bit more cut and dried, hard business.
We're coming back with more of your Facebook and Twitter questions. You can also reach us on the U.S. Cellular Hawkeye Hotline. We'll give you that number when we come back. Or you can even email us a question for Coach, whether it's this week or next. We're sponsored tonight here at View Rooftop by Steel. Get your yard ready for fall with the proven power of Steel. From cleanups to cutbacks, we've got the tools to help you win every weekend. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And by Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Wellmark knows that you're here for every moment, every touchdown, every tackle. Wellmark is here for every moment as well, with health care coverage you can count on. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/touchdown. Wellmark.com/touchdown. Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, longtime supporter of Iowa Hawkeye football. All right, we're coming right back with more comments from the players as well as Coach Ferentz in just a minute from View Rooftop and Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Fall's the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
As a program, we're always working to compete at the highest level on the field. The Flight Fund is a great opportunity for our fans to contribute directly to our football program, which will benefit our student athletes and all involved with Hawkeye football. Contributions to the Flight Fund will enable us to continue to attract and retain the highest quality prospective players to keep our program in a position to compete at a championship level.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growing and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Cy-Hawk Week is always a big week. The Hawkeyes and the Cyclones kick off at 11 o'clock Saturday morning. Coach, we're at View Rooftop, by the way. Come on out and join us tonight, next week, every week here on Hawk Talk. Kind of an oddity in the schedule. You got 5 o'clock last week, 11 o'clock tomorrow, but 3 of the first 4 games are night games. I don't know that we've ever had that situation.
It's got to be the first time ever.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be so. I mean, we didn't have lights years ago, right? So it has to be.
Good reason not to have a night game, yeah.
But yeah, it's really weird. It's a representative college football too, because to our guys all the time, we know what days the games are going to be. We have no idea when they're going to be, what time of day. So you know, you just adjust to that. But we know the schedule, so that's that. But yeah, to your point, starting out, I think we had 5 away or night games last year, which I'm guessing unofficially has to be the most we've had, and then. Yeah, 3 out of 4 right away here, and then just for good measure, one's on a Friday, just in case you weren't paying attention. So
is that Rutgers?
Yeah. So it's only a matter of time. We'll be playing Thursdays. I'm pretty confident of that. I don't know when it's going to be, but it's coming.
It's coming. Well, we'll wait for it. Saturday, not long to wait. 11 o'clock kick, 9 o'clock for the coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We heard Mark Gronowski talk about his performance last week. He was asked about the Iowa State defense this week.
It's a new defense for me. I've played it a couple times, but it wasn't ever that team's like full go motto. They'd always be a kind of a switch up, a curveball that they'd throw into it. So this week it's been kind of nice to just solely focus on that portion of things. And obviously they have a lot of different wrinkles they can run and a lot of different guys in different faces. But we're doing a great job. Coach Lester's done a great job with the film so far. And yeah, I mean, one thing just in general, just about the pass game, is most teams are always dropping 7. They're rushing 4, or even sometimes rushing 5. And this team, they're dropping 8. So there's just a lot more guys, a lot more bodies out there. But that also gives us an opportunity in the blocking scheme of just passing. I'll have a lot more time back there, so I can let guys develop. I can go out there, make plays, use my feet a little bit to extend the play, let guys get open and have chances that way.
He is a thinking man's quarterback. His tailback, Xavier Williams, had a comment on the Iowa State defense.
They definitely have a unique defense, so still got to watch more film and clean up all the things. But it's definitely a different type of defense than what we would normally face. So I'd say that's the biggest challenge. It's just a different look than what we'd usually see.
One guy who showed up for the Iowa defense last weekend was Zach Lutmer from Northwest Iowa. He will hit you, and he talked about Rocco Beck and that Iowa State offense.
Yeah, he's definitely a winner. I think last game he went 19 of 20 passing. He's fast quarterback, can get out of the pocket, has a lot of knowledge. He likes to get the ball out quick, and he's just very decisive in his throws as well. Yeah, they have 4 good tight ends as well. They pose a lot of challenges. They'll sometimes bring them in and pound the rock, or they'll suck you in with the play action and try to throw it deep over your head. So everyone just got to be honed in on the details and really focus on their job.
Honed in on the details. Zach was last week, Coach, a young man from Rock Rapids, a sophomore, Central Lyon High School. Had 5 tackles, 3 solos, and he was omnipresent.
He really was. Zach's a really good football player, and we have, I mentioned just what we saw as Xavier Williams, cherry pick one guy, just watching him in practice. And Zach, ever since he's been here, has just, gained ground each and every practice, basically, and very, very talented and very versatile, probably the most versatile defensive back we have back there. I'm not sure he couldn't play any of the positions if he's called upon. So, every week's going to just help him grow and be more experienced, and really good player. I'm glad he's with us.
He was talking about Rocco and the offense for the Cyclones. They played 4 tight ends, 14 personnel in 1 or 2 plays last week, but they rarely have a possession or a play without at least 2 tight ends on the field.
Yeah, and I think they're all over 6'5". I mean, literally, I think they are. They're big, tall guys. Really good targets in the passing game. 18's an outstanding receiver. He's almost more of a receiver than a tight end, conventional tight end, let me put it that way. But, yeah, that's where they're very unique in this day and age. Everybody plays 3 receivers or 4 receivers. I say everybody, a high percentage of opponents do. And, the Iowa State's exactly opposite of that. They'll typically play with a running back and then at least 2 tight ends on the field, if not 3. At times 4, but that's not unusual to see that, and big offensive line veteran group. So they're we talked about the uniqueness of the preparation for our offense going against their defense. I would argue or suggest it's the same thing for our defense, because we don't face many teams that play big personnel like these guys do.
Coach, they lost 2 good receivers to the NFL. You mentioned that earlier to the Houston Texans. Jalen Noel had a great year last year. Who jumps off the page at you this year? They brought in a couple transfers. Xavier Townsend is a 5'11" speedster out of Tampa. He's gotten off to a 11-yard per catch average. Dominic Overby, a young man from Utah. Tyler Moore, Brett Elskildson, a sophomore from Texas. They've got capable replacements, don't they?
Yeah, I'll let you say the name 9. I can't pronounce it, but he got behind the defense last week for a big gain. Can run really well. Overby, as you mentioned, I can say that name. He is a tall guy, big guy, like they seem to have each and every year. Eli Green's a guy we were really interested in a year ago, transferred from North Dakota State. And Xavier Townsend, you can see him trying to work him into the picture. Doing it mainly at receiver, but they'll line him up in the backfield and get him out on isolation against a linebacker, that type of thing, just getting the ball in his hands. Really fast, very, very good speed, and we saw that on film when he was at Central Florida. So good return guy also. So they've got a good group. They've lost 2 outstanding players, but they've got a good group that's been very productive.
Before we go to break, Coach, let's talk about this week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital Kid Captain. And this week's University of Iowa Children's Hospital Kid Captain is 5-year-old James Hall from Dyersville, home of the Hates. Mike and Dave Haight, 2 great players, one offensive line, the other a defensive lineman out of Beckman up in Dyersville a few years back. What started as a persistent earache led to the discovery of 2 brain tumors and a rare cancer-like disorder for young James Hall. At UI Stead Family Children's Hospital, James underwent chemotherapy and additional treatment, And in the spring of 2023, a second unrelated tumor was found. He continues to receive expert care and ongoing monitoring at Children's Hospital. That's way too much than a 5-year-old should have to deal with. But you know what? If you have to deal with it, make sure you're at Stead Family Children's Hospital.
Yeah, I know he's getting great care and treatment there. And, yeah, it's a tough story, certainly. So we're all hoping that things move in the right direction for James.
Look at that mug there. He looks like a future Hawk coach.
He does. He really does.
KCRG 9.2 TV screen. We thank KCRG 9.2 for being here tonight and every week. James Hall, kid captain for this week's Iowa Cyclone battle in Ames. James, stay strong, my man. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. They've been growing their winning team since 1837. So whether you're cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, nothing runs like a Deere. We'll run out for a break and come back to View Rooftop in just a minute here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Fall's the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited about the football season. Iowa Corn is pumped up for their season and their partnership with the Hawkeyes. When you drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up with unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
Thanks for tuning in tonight on the Hawkeye Radio Network to Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. We were talking about George Raveling's passing a little earlier, Coach. When you think about George and C. Vivian Stringer being hired within 2 weeks of each other by the legendary Hall of Famer Bump Elliott, it speaks volumes for Iowa's progressiveness. In the 80s, there weren't a lot of African American head coaches in any sport, let alone basketball and football. And the two of the greatest right there, George and C. Vivian.
Yeah, great. Both of them are great hires. And just, I don't pretend to know George well. I got to meet him, but certainly didn't know him well. But I just know the way he worked here and what he did in his entire career. Amazing man. I don't know if he has an enemy. Everybody's so positive about him and his impact. And certainly was a great, I think, ambassador for the University of Iowa and Vivian Stringer. I mean, geez, what a hire that is, too. So really outstanding people. And, 88's a pretty good number. That's a big number, but hopefully, I know he had a very full life and touched a lot of people and impacted a lot of people. So sorry to get that news.
Let's go to Twitter and Facebook. Kevin, on that note, Coach, Kevin is in Alburnett. It was nice to see Bob Bowlesby recognized last week at Kinnick. What are the differences, if any, working for Beth Getz compared to the man who hired you, Bob Bowlesby, in terms of athletic director leadership?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I actually thought about that today. I don't know why. But I've worked for, to me, things all got established here when Bump Elliott came here. I believe it was 1970. I walked in here as a young assistant in 1981, and the culture was just so impressive on campus and especially in the athletic department community. So I've got to think he was the driving force of that. And based on my 9 years, that's what I observed. Bump was a guy who hired really good people and then let them do their job, and he supported them, and was just a first-class human being, first and foremost. And then you think about it, we've had 3 athletic directors since 1970, and all of them have been great to work with. And Beth, just in her short time in her new role, has just been stellar. She's outstanding. I think really understands the climate right now and is working hard to make sure that we can remain competitive in all of our sports. And, it's a really great department, and she's, I think, given us great leadership.
Appreciate the question. Let's go to Facebook. Susan in Grundy Center, belated happy birthday, Kirk. How does it feel to be 70? I know you stay in great shape. Can you share your fitness and diet regimens? Good luck in Ames.
Yeah, so
your fitness and diet regimens.
Just try to do something frequently. I'm not going to say it's every day, but I try to do something that's besides eat and drink a couple beers. So anyway, just try to exercise more than what I take in. But there's really no secrets to it. And quite frankly, being 70 feels like I did when I was 60 or 50, other than maybe some arthritic stuff that comes with the territory. But, it feels pretty good. And, again, just nothing overly dramatic. Got 2 new hips back in 21, so I've enjoyed walking. That became my new vocation, if you will, but still do other stuff on top of it. And, just try to do something every day to stay busy.
Now, I had a teeth cleaning appointment yesterday with my dentist, and Dr. Anna says, my God, every time I look at Kirk and he's chomping down, how many packs of gum? Here we go, the packs of gum again. I said, I think it's 3. He may be up to 4, but could be 3. And she's all real worried about your teeth going forward. Are they okay? Mouth in good shape? And
I've got a couple implants. I mean,
okay.
A couple, you name it. So, and not this past spring, but 2 springs ago, first practice dinner, and one of my crowns just basically fell off on the turf. So that ended up being an implant. So I mean, it's just my teeth are straight, unlike my brother and sister, but my teeth are like chalk. I mean, they're. So I've spent enough time with dentists and they've all been pleasant people, but way too much time with them.
A caller or a Facebook post in Ely up near Cedar Rapids wants to know how many packs of gum it takes to get through a game. Is it still 3 or?
Yeah, really.
Do you know?
So I've changed. I don't do bubble gum anymore because we can't find it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm in Trident now, and it's way less. So it's. Like 3 pieces a quarter. So what's that come out to? 3 times 4 is 12, right?
That's
one more for pregame.
Close to a pack.
Yeah.
One more for pregame. Okay. So there you have it, Doc. He's doing well. I'll keep you updated on that on a regular basis. Hey, tailgate at Kinnick. Literally, the Kinnick Premium Tailgate is presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. That includes your tent, parking, cooler, and tables, all set up in Krause Family Plaza. Just steps from kickoff. Don't miss it. Go to HawkeyeSports.com/tailgate, and we'll see you at Kinnick enjoying your Kinnick Premium Tailgate Package. Speaking of great packages, we're here at View Rooftop tonight. You can experience a high-energy rooftop bar with spectacular views of downtown Iowa City, the sun setting, beautiful skyline tonight. View Rooftop features a distinctively modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. View Rooftop, located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn here in Iowa City, with specials on Hawkeye football game days. View Rooftop provides a memorable experience of food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. The number to call, 319-519-4650 for reservations at View Rooftop. Coach, give us an early key for Saturday in terms of your perspective for the Hawks.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things, but we talked about the, early season play, but any big game like this, tightly contested games, you always start with the turnover margin, and that was a bigger factor. Probably going back 4 or 5 years ago, those two games, we had a pronounced edge. That's a big thing. Certainly the penalty situation. Both teams are really low in penalties typically, and special teams always factor in as well. But, I think Zach Lutmer said it, just, being disciplined on defense, everybody doing what they're supposed to do, and really honoring all 11 of their guys because they do a good job of spreading the ball around. And then conversely on offense, we've got to be patient. Their scheme can present some problems where you might have a couple ugly plays and then you might hit something really clean. So you got to play through the ugly and just keep, stay with what you're doing, be patient. And, again, you've got to really be detailed and disciplined.
Sounds like a solid approach. We'll look forward to seeing you at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning over at Jack Trice, Coach. Our pregame coverage starts at 9 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Mark checks in. Mark will wrap it up tonight. He said, I was at the game 2 years ago in Ames. I'm surprised how loud and long the sound system plays music as the visiting team comes to the line of scrimmage. Is there anything you can do about that? Anything you can say to the refs? What does it say in the rule book about the PA system?
Yeah, you don't think that's intentional, do you?
No,
Any chance
not at all.
I mean, we every pregame we just talk to the officials about that, and they do a good job. But basically, once you get up under center, they've got to make it quiet, and they do a good job of pressing the envelope a little bit, and I guess they're trying to get a competitive edge. There's a lot of noise up there and all that type of thing. So it's just that's the stuff you can't let that annoy you or distract you. But to the questioner's point, I mean, there is a rule on that, and that needs to be enforced. The officials have done a good job of that at least, so that's all you can ask.
Mark, I'm guessing he's a music major, just enjoys music, and we'll move on. You're playing on a grass field. We've got about 30 seconds left. Grass field. I know there's never any major issues with that unless it rains, but no rain in the forecast.
Can't remember bad experience field-wise up there, and even whatever year it was with all the rain delays.
Yeah.
The turf was no issue at all. It was just the lightning. So, it's a really good field, as is Penn State's. They're probably two of the best that we see.
Don't bring up lightning, please.
Oh, boy.
Never again.
Oh, boy.
Hey, we've been brought to you tonight by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Hawks. U.S. Cellular reminds you that on game days, your hands are for cheering, not texting, because game days are built for the Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Drive carefully if you're heading over to Ames Saturday. Coach, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you this weekend.
It's good to see you, and it's coming fast.
It is coming fast. Midweek won't be here long. We'll talk to you again next week, hopefully about a Hawk victory over the Cyclones here at View Rooftop, 6:30 next Wednesday night on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I'm Gary Dolphin for Coach Ferentz and our engineer-producer, Corey Sheets. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll talk at 9 o'clock bright and early on Saturday morning from Jack Trice. Good night.
This has been Hawk Talk, brought to you by Steel. This fall, power up with Steel, a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Also brought to you by your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. By your local Ford dealers. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.